Saints and the Bills, the next game we're talking about here. The Saints made it competitive in Buffalo. I mean, it's competitive as we probably imagine that this game possibly could have been. Hey, covered.
Covered. Had to be competitive if they covered.
What did the line end at? Was it 15.5?
I thought it was 16.5, I think.
It was 16.5 at one point, and then I think it went back down to 15.5.
But the smart ones, apparently the smart ones had money on the Saints. Actually, I knew somebody called me yesterday and said they had money on the Saints.
I did not bet on the Saints, but to be honest, I should have. We were talking about this on the preview show. 15.5 is too many points. Off principle alone, 15.5 is too many points.
It's the NFL.
Just take the 15.5. Yeah. So, anyways, Buffalo does win this game, 31-19. Top 5 graded players that we have for the Buffalo Bills. Running back James Cook, 86.6. Brother, this run game is about as steady and dependable as you could be in Buffalo right now. And he's the reason why. The offensive line's the reason why. I mean, they're cooking right now. Edge rusher Greg Rousseau, I feel like he is every single week in the top 5 here at number 2. 79.5. Offensive tackle Ryan Vandermark with a 79.0. Edge rusher AJ Epinesa with a 76.9. Offensive guard Davis Edwards with a 74.7. Quarterback Josh Allen is 66.1. On the Saints side of things, my boy Jonas Sanker. I feel like I was a little bit higher on him than most people in the draft, so I got to shout him out there. Scouting win. I'm taking it. I'm not looking at his grades from this point on. I'm just taking it as a win. He's at the top of the list with an 85.0. Running back Kendre Miller, 82.8. Edge rusher Carl Granderson is 67.3. Offensive tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. is 66.9. Offensive guard Cesar Ruiz with a 66.7. And then Spencer Rattler, a 65.1. Stat that told the story, Dalton.
First, apologies to David Edwards there. Had a typo there. I've been up since 6 a.m., so these things happen with the typos. Okay.
I won't forgive you.
I know, you never do.
Anything on that teleprompter, I will read.
Oh, I know. At least you know how to read. That's good.
The Ron Burgundy of sports.
That kind of makes sense. I could see that.
Thank you.
It's reasonable.
I mean, if I just go with the mustache, could pull it off.
Yeah, you probably could. I couldn't. I could never go just mustache. I couldn't do it. I'm not.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that.
No, I wouldn't either. Nobody would. None of you would, I'm sure of it. Okay, so this game, despite the Saints, yes, covering, and they had it competitive for a while. They've kind of been doing that in a couple of these losses they've had here. I think Brandon Staley's actually done a reasonably good job with this defense, especially with some of the young kids, preventing explosive plays and keep them in it. Demario Davis is playing fantastic football, things like that. To me, though, I think the Saints at this point, I hate to be this just like this early in the season, but I mean, I just don't have a quarterback I can take seriously.
And Spencer don't think the roster is there. Like, Spencer's not even playing poorly.
I think their defense is playing okay, all things considered. I think the offensive line's obviously young and trying to figure it out. Spencer, 4.7 yards per attempt.
It's not great.
The good plays in this game that he made were running the football. And I actually believe at this point, and I think this was the tie break between him and Tyler Shuck in the preseason anyway, it's just that Rattler is a little bit of a better athlete. And he can give you something as a runner and something moving the pocket, whereas Shuck is really going to be kind of confined to the pocket. I again, in the preseason, I thought the two of them played about even football, and Rattler's just a better athlete who has the year of NFL experience. But 52 passing grade, 126 yards on 27 attempts, 2 fumbles this season. Most turnover-worthy plays in football with 10. 5.2 yards per attempt. That's the 4th lowest in the league. 64.7 passing grade on 10-plus yard throws. There just isn't a quarterback. I think, honestly, for me, this is the type of game, because I'm not expecting the Saints to go into Buffalo and win. They competed harder for 3.5 quarters than I thought they would, because I think Brandon Staley's actually doing a pretty good job with their defense. I do. But until they have a quarterback, I'm counting down the days to me until they have a quarterback that I can actually just be like, okay, I believe in this. And we're going to get, at some point this year, we're going to see Tyler Shuck. We're going to see him.
Right.
Because there's just no reason not to see him at some point.
Yeah, and that's the tough part about how we talk about the Saints is I agree with you. I feel like most of the team is maybe playing better than we expected the Saints to play this year.
They ran the ball well in this game. Their defense has quietly been, other than the Seattle game, it all just fell apart on them, that the Avalanche got them. But their other 3 games, their defense has not played that bad. They've kept them in the game. They kept them in this game in Buffalo, which is really hard to do.
I agree.
But the more I watch this team and I flip it to the offensive side of the tape and I just go, I just don't have a quarterback.
No, they're not explosive enough
At all.
They're not potent enough on the offensive side of the ball and at quarterback. And I don't think Spencer Rattler is playing catastrophically bad. I just think the ceiling with him is just it's low. It's low. And when you play the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, you're not gonna.
I think if Spencer Rattler's your backup, you actually feel okay.
Yeah, you feel good about that.
If he's your starter for most of 17,
right.
You don't feel very okay.
Well, then you're drafting. That's, I mean, not to be too harsh about it, but like, that's why you reached for a 26-year-old quarterback in the second round in this quarterback class, right? I mean, like that's sort of the situation that we're in. So yeah, we have to see Tyler Shuck because you drafted him in the second round to hopefully be better than whatever Spencer Rattler's giving you, and he's not out there starting. Now, that's fine. I'm not saying that, like, Shuck's never going to be good because he's not starting by week 4, but we kind of got to see it soon, right?
I would think.
Well, what do you have to lose at this point? You're 0-4. Anyways, on the Bills side of things, which I think is the better, probably the more tangible takeaway, the run game's unbelievable. They are third in EPA per rush as a team this season. They are fourth in total rushing yards as a team this season. They are number 1 in the NFL in average time of possession. That's what I love the most about this Bills team. They control so much of an uncontrollable game. They can have a 33-second drive that ends in a field goal or a touchdown, or they can have a 13-minute drive with 30 plays. Now, I know that math probably doesn't check out there, but you know what I'm saying here. That's what this team has the ability to do. They can speed it up and slow it down on command, and it is so very rare to have a team that has an offensive line, a running back, passing weapons, personnel diversity, and most importantly, a quarterback that allows you to do those things. And the Bills have all 5 of them. So that this team is... Again, we do power rankings at NFLSC. I have the Bills at number 1. I have the Bills at number 1 because of that. Because I just think they control the game so well, where other teams that are good, and these other teams that are around them in my top 3 and top 5, are capable of beating the Buffalo Bills, but just the way that they dominate the game has been unbelievable. My most impressive is James Cook. 22 carries, 117 yards, a touchdown, 8th straight game with a touchdown. That's a Buffalo Bills franchise record there. And it's clockwork how they're able to get this guy in the end zone as much as they are. So it's much more than just, fantasy stats or anytime TD stats or whatever. Like, this is dominance. That's a dominant stat to me. So I think that actually matters because 8 straight times you've been able to get this guy in the end zone, no matter who you're playing, that is a tangible thing to be talking about here for the Bills offense.
Absolutely. And I just, watching this offense, my most impressive is the offensive line, because I mentioned New England as the highest graded offensive line of the week earlier. Buffalo was second right behind them. The Bills have the highest graded offensive line this season. And this is a game we sasaw Ryan Vandemark in their top 5 graded players. Spencer Brown, he was filling in for Spencer Brown at right tackle, who's really good. And Vandemark comes in, you don't even notice. You don't even notice that Spencer Brown is out. He was so good. This is the highest graded offensive line in football right now. They're dominating in run blocking. They're dominating in pass protection. And then to your point about the personnel, when you watch this team play to play in sequence, it is head spinning. You talk about before, I've talked about other teams tipping their pitches and, formations can give things away and personnel and this and that. This team right now, what Joe Brady does, it's head spinning to figure out the personnel packages and the way the Bills do things. They've got 3 different tight ends that played at least 20 snaps in this game. They played 6 different wide receivers that played at least 14 snaps in this game. We know they go with the 6 offensive linemen a lot. 3 different running backs are getting snaps. A fullback's playing 17 snaps. They use every single offensive player on their roster, and they use them with purpose. Mm-hmm. They really do. Especially to me, the 3 tight ends are just ridiculous. Dalton Kincaid catches another touchdown. We know Dawson Knox can block. Jackson Hawes has been awesome in this offense. I've mentioned that before. This team has so many different ways to beat you, even though these guys aren't household names other than Josh Allen. Joe Brady's just, I'll say it again, he's doing a masterful job, and it makes me think that the Bills need to win a trophy with him this year because he's going to be somewhere else come the spring.
Somebody in the chat saying, is James Cook better than Dalvin? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I'd take Dalvin. Dalvin's peak is.
I don't think so, but are we working on it?
No, it's closer than I ever thought it would be. I'm going to be honest with you.
The bigger thing to me is, you think they have this argument?
Of course. They have to. They're brothers.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe, I don't, sometimes it could be cordial and just be like, hey, we were both pretty good.
No,
you don't think so?
No, not anymore. Now that's the level we're at. They're not being cordial anymore.
Now that James has established himself.
I wonder if James, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, like how long Dalvin's peak was. Because I feel as though James, certainly in this situation that he's in with the Bills, could have the longer run of success. But when we talk about who's better, I would take Dalvin. I think Dalvin's peaks. And I just think that Dalvin's was more physically gifted than James was. So
it's an interesting element. I'm just looking at Dalvin's right here. Dalvin, not as long as I thought.
It was only like 3 years, 4 years, right?
Maybe 5. You got like 5 years of peak Dalvin.
But those were...
they were pretty darn good.
They were elite.
They sure were. There was
especially the Florida State. I mean, if we're taking college into account,
Dalvin was better. Dalvin was better in college.
Yes,
because James Cook with this deep rotation at Georgia. We're getting into way too many arguments here, but James Cook at Georgia was kind of James Cook at Georgia was kind of in the rotation and even more of the passing down back.
Yeah,
Dalvin in college was better.
Yeah, NFL
was insane. NFL at the end of it, we might have an argument.
I'll take it, Dalvin.